Hi family, this is Dr. Kia Pruitt. It is Tuesday, October the 7th, 2025. I just wanted to bring you a message that is interesting that October the 13th is Columbus Day, and it's also known as Indigenous Peoples Day. All schools will be out, and I think that's a day when many things will be closed. Something interesting about October the 13th is that it is also the last great day of the Feast of Booths or Sukkot, and they also call it the Feast of Tabernacles for we Hebrew people. So pay attention to October the 13th. 13 is also a very special holy number. Now, I know the deep state told you to be afraid of 13, but in the Hebrew tradition and ancient people's cultures, 13 was a day that represented peace, power, and abundance, or prosperity. Peace, power, and prosperity. So October the 13th is going to be huge. It's Columbus Day, Indigenous People Day, and the last great day of the Feast of Tabernacles. The Feast of Tabernacles, for some, is 7 days, and for some, is 8 days. It is a holy day that's made up of those days that occurs around this harvest season. But the celebration of these great days actually starts September the 23rd with the Feast of Trumpets. So you have the Feast of Trumpets where you blow the trumpet, you sound the alarm, and you usher in the new year. It is the Holy Hebrew New Year on September the 23rd. Then you start counting from the September the 23rd, 10 days. And during those 10 days, we call it the days of awe, AWE, where we actually do some introspection, some self-reflection, and we look at over our lives and we make corrections for anything that we've done wrong. And we also reconcile with God and with the people in our lives. Now, although you do that all during the year, this is a specific time where we really concentrate and focus on getting our lives right with God and with each other. So again, Feast of Trumpets, New Year, it's also called Rosh Hashanah, September the 23rd. You count 10 days, and during those 10 days, you do some self-reflection. On the 10th day, from September the 23rd, it fell around October the 1st of this year, which was the Day of Atonement. It's the highest, holiest day of this whole season. We fast for 24 hours to become at one with God. It's called at one mint or atonement or Yom Kippur for the Hebrew people that speak it in their language. So you are fasting to just get your life right with God, to focus on all your things that you've done throughout the year. You think about any mistakes you may have made and you get it right with God. Now, those 10 days leading up to the Day of Atonement, you've already gotten it right with people and asked them for forgiveness and extended forgiveness. Then after the Day of Atonement, between October the 1st and 2nd, which, by the way, October the 1st was my birthday. Then after that, fast or feast day, the second, you count 4 days, and then that should fall on October the 6th, which begins the first day of the Feast of Booths, or the Feast of Tabernacles, also called Sukkot. The Feast of Tabernacles is a time we commemorate when the children of Israel, according to the biblical story, was in the wilderness, traversing through the wilderness after having come out of slavery out of Egypt. And that while they were there, they were, murmuring and complaining. They shouldn't have been complaining. They were supposed to be just traveling for 3 days, but they were complaining. They were bad-mouthing their prophet Moses, and God was proving them to see what they were made of, to see if they were worthy to go into the promised land. That trip that was only supposed to take 3 days lasted 40 years. But while they were there, they lived in temporary dwellings that they made out of branches and trees, and they called these temporary dwellings booths, like homes, temporary homes. Now, God was providing for them, giving them food, not only food falling from the sky, but water springing from rocks. I mean, he was performing all kind of miracles, and yet the people were complaining that they weren't getting out fast enough. And oh my God, how could it be that Moses took them out of slavery? And why were they in the wilderness? It's taking too long. And at least when they stayed in slavery, Pharaoh gave them food to eat for free. I mean, they were just complaining and making up all kind of reasons to not be grateful for what God was doing to even bring them out of slavery. Kind of reminds me of how people prosecute and persecute those of us who are the prophets of today, that's telling them, look, things are changing. The deep state is being taken down. The cabal is being taken down. We're entering to 5D. We're ascending to higher levels and higher dimensions. And you still have some people saying, oh, it's taking too long. How dare you prophets and people that are keyboard warriors get on these platforms and saying we're being set free. We're not set free. We'll never be delivered. It'll never happen. They'll prosecute you, persecute you, badmouth you, whatever. And that is why it has taken so long, because the people had to be on the same level. The people had to all wake up, and we had to reach a critical mass where people would say, hey, we have been in slavery, and yeah, we did not like it. But you know what? If we all band together and raise our vibrations, we can move this along more quickly. We have entered that time where most of us have awakened, and we're experiencing an expressing gratitude to the Creator and to all the military men and women, and to President Donald Trump, as in trumpets, and to all those who are working to take down the deep state. So this is a time for us to celebrate, not badmouth God or not to persecute those that are helping us, but to commemorate God's provisions when we were in our wilderness experience. Even in the middle of slavery to the deep state, God somehow made a way. But we are most grateful for the takedown of the deep state and being ushered out of slavery. So again, we're celebrating right now the Feast of Tabernacles, Sukkot or Booth, Feast of Booths, for these 7 to 8 days, depending on which congregation you're in. Some people say 7 days, some people say 8. Nevertheless, the 13th of October, for most of us, is the highest, holiest day of the year outside of Yom Kippur. But it's the greatest celebration time. So I would say, pay attention. Something huge is going to happen around October the 13th. Similarly, I've been saying for years, the deep state takedown will happen around the Feast of Trumpets. And that was September the 23rd. And I say what happened somewhere between the Feast of Trumpets and the Feast of Booths. And I knew that because Trump is the president. I knew it since his first administration. Trump is the trumpet in Zion that has been blown against the deep state. He is the trumpet in Zion that has awakened the masses to our enslavement. He is the trumpet in Zion that has been used to awaken the people. I also knew that it would happen around this time because the trumpet players, the Brunson brothers, are the ones who brought a legal complaint against Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Kamala Harris, and 385 members of Congress. Those were all codes. I had the esteemed privilege of actually interviewing Lloyd Brunson twice. He was one of the trumpet players that led the cause to bring up that complaint against the whole Biden administration. And what they said was that they participated in fraud. And when it is proven that they did participate in fraud, all of them, Nancy Pelosi, Biden, Harris, and 385 members of Congress had to be taken down. But again, it was the trumpet brothers, the Brunson brothers, the trumpet players that brought that complaint up against the Biden administration. So looking at all the clues, knowing as a Hebrew person how these days are not only important to me and the Hebrew people, but important to the people that are in power. They do a lot of things on the feast days, but I knew that this time, whatever they did was going to work on our behalf. So I just wanted to let you know, October the 13th is a high day. It is the last day of the Feast of Tabernacles, Feast of Booths, Sukkot, Sukkot, or however many people call it. They give it many different names. But what I would encourage you to do is, if you're interested, look up the Feast of Trumpets, the 10 days of awe, the Day of Atonement or Yom Kippur, and the Feast of Booths, Booths, and you'll see how this whole season is so important and how this season ushered in the takedown of the deep state. And that, my darlings, is why the government shutdown happened on September the 30th. at midnight, which is actually October 1st, my birthday, on Yom Kippur, the holy day of fasting for 24 hours to become at one with God. It happened in all God's divine timing. My name is Dr. Kia Pruitt. I trust I've said something to raise your vibrations and inspire you to create the most amazing, magnificent life that you desire and deserve. I love you. Bye-bye.